So welcome, Bo, to the Future of Fitness, Radiance, Empowerment and Wholeness podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We are in Mexico right now, in Ixtapa.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just done a course with Bo, a mixed modality healing course, and I really wanted to have Bo join us and talk about the work she's doing because it's so aligned with my vision of fitness, which is that it's not just one thing, but we need so many different things in order to feel healthy and whole and thriving. And so maybe you could tell us to start off with a little bit about the kind of starting point of you getting into mixed modality healing, and that would kind of
definitely.
help us to understand you.
So I started into healing itself 10 plus years ago, maybe longer than that, in Thailand, doing Thai massage. And although that was super effective, I didn't feel like it encompassed everything. So I was kind of hungry a little bit on what I could add to that. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of my backstory, I used to be a competitive snowboarder, and I broke everything. I broke my back in 3 places. I had really bad plantar fasciitis. I could barely walk. So for me, it was kind of a journey to try to find what would heal me. And then kind of bring it to everybody else. So although Thai massage was amazing, it didn't last. And I want to try to kind of get to the root or the bottom of the mechanics of the problem. And the next thing I found was reflexology, but not reflexology massage, advanced reflexology. It's not the same thing.
It's not.
Alice knows this. It's a lot more painful, but in Eastern medicine we treat pain with pain, not because we're sadists, but because it works. And the reason that happens is we ignore these little pains in our bodies for a long time, and then all of a sudden it becomes a large pain. And the way we get into that is sometimes with pain.
Yeah.
So it's really about changing our relationship to pain, actually, I think. Kind of be able to embrace and surrender that. Obviously, keeping things within people's thresholds. But even then, although we would rather just find the root of the problem, but how do you come up with the body? So then I found Rainer therapy, and Rainer bodywork or Rainer massage is probably, I would say, the most advanced form of hands-on physiotherapy that's not in the Western world, where we're working with the tension that runs through the body. And then adding in the different, adding in cupping, for example, when we're working with taking stagnation out of the body, when we're working with circulation, pulling out toxins, and then lymphatic drainage as well. And we don't really talk about our lymphatic system enough in health, and our lymphatic system is responsible for draining us of all of our toxins, right? Part of our circulatory system, but it is a huge thing that's forgotten by Western medicine a lot of the time. And the last thing that we had in the course is the newest modality that I have was sound therapy. Sound and vibrational therapy, which is such an interesting modality, and still we're barely scratching the surface of that. Yeah.
And it sounded like it started with more of a physical thing, and then it got deeper and deeper, which is similar for me. I started off as a dancer, and it was all about the physical and the superficial, and then as I kind of went further down the path, I looked at actually we have the spiritual and the emotional and the mental side of things.
Yeah.
So did you have any kind of like awakening or like shift of perspective through that thing that happened to you with your body? Or
Definitely. Bringing those 4 parts of the body together wasn't something I really understood at first. I had quite a traumatic childhood, so I had a lot of emotional and spiritual pain and issues that I really needed to deal with. And as I got into the physical, especially when I got into reflexology, I realized the kind of emotional releases that started to happen. And it was really pivotal for me.
Wow.
Yeah, we were working through my childhood trauma. And actually, we have a saying at I Heal Collective, which is the healing in me is the healing in you. And it was such an amazing thing to work through this with the people that I found that were my mentors or my gurus or whatever you want to call it, that really brought that together, because I was really focused on the physical and actually the mental as well. I'm really a proponent of cognitive behavioral therapy, and that's really, really interesting to me. But the emotional and the spiritual were kind of lost to me for a while until I kind of found that. And I had an energy awakening, I don't know how many years ago, actually, maybe about 5 years ago, when I was able to see energy.
Wow.
And energy awakenings are interesting. Everyone thinks it's this like, beautiful ascension process. No, it is not. It is painful, and it is hard, and you have to do a lot of your shadow work, coming to terms with all the things about yourself that, that you make it, sorry, that... Pause, and you have to come to terms with all of the things you think about yourself that make you not likable, and make you pull away from yourself, and really have to embrace that yourself and really hold the hand of little child within you and kind of lead that child forward. And that is such an amazing thing to be able to do for yourself and to be able to advocate and help people through that as well.
Yeah.
So it was really, really pivotal for me. And seeing energy and getting to know that was quite painful too at the time.
Right.
Because I didn't know how to do what we call transmusion of energy. I would take in other people's pain and then I would just get stuck in me, right? So it's a journey when it comes to energy work. So after a while and, following the advice of the people that kind of taught me or led me, I was able to, be able to move energy through myself, which is still not always a comfortable experience, but it's really powerful. I think you experienced some of that in this course.
Yeah, definitely. And I did feel during the course my awareness of energy was increasing, and I'm not sure if it was just through your kind of encouragement of trusting our intuition, and then also the land here in Mexico as well is different to the UK, but I could definitely feel that. And it's something it's hard to explain to people if you've never experienced energy work. It's hard to explain it because it's kind of abstract.
Yes.
You have to experience it for yourself in order to...
Absolutely. I think everyone's experienced that in certain ways, but they just think it's a sensation. It's the way the wind blows, something that's catching in their eyesight. Getting down to that kind of nitty-gritty of that and actually, right, you said, be able to trust your intuition, be able to kind of hold space for yourself and whoever you're with. We are all energy, right? But we've been programmed in this way that we think with our mental and we live with our mental. So kind of getting involved with your energetics has almost become a foreign concept. But we all do it every day. It's the same way, if you hang out with somebody and you feel exhausted, well, you're leaking light and that person's pulling energy from you, right?
Yeah.
But if you see someone, you're hanging out with somebody and you feel energized after, well, there's a bioresonance that happens, and your bioresonance actually being upgraded by theirs because the body wants to heal, it wants to elevate, right? So it's surrounding yourself with the people that are raising your resonance and trying to be that person, for other people to raise the resonance without being depleted yourself. So that's the tricky balance.
And I think it's when I learned to become a personal trainer, it was all very structured, and there's like a program you have to follow, and like it's all very in your head, and I would say more masculine. And I've learned to trust my intuition, and that sometimes working with people is more... You can't always put it into a program of what people should do or what you should do in a session. You are following a feeling and an intuition and like a resonance, and that's it's kind of blending, I think, the two, which is I liked about our work is that you have the physical side of the healing and the hands-on stuff that you can actually feel the tension bands releasing, and but there's also the energetics that go, so it's encompassing surface level all the way down to energetics.
Absolutely. And with all the work that we're doing in our body, I mean, these are releasing emotions. These are releasing, that's what it all is about. Like even people that are addicted, I would say, to working out or that kind of thing. It's those endorphins, it's that release. Well, that's all energetics, but we just don't process it in the same way. And I think the blending of these things like mixed modality is the most beneficial you can get. And I liked what you said about the on our course about the expert syndrome, and the fact of actually there's not just one thing that is the kind of savior of everything. There's a mixture of different things. Because how often do you go to a therapy or a therapist and say, well, this is going to fix you, this is what it is, and it's like, okay, I mean, that's important, but like say a chiropractor, for example, this is not rating chiropractors, but bones don't move muscles, muscles move bones. So if you just go to a chiropractor over and over again, they're doing their job, they're putting everything back into place. But if you don't release the tension in the bands and the muscles, the tendons, the ligaments, the fascia, it's just going to get pulled out again, right? So it is so important. And I found with my clients as a personal trainer, it's so frustrating because I could see that they had these things going on with their bodies, and that we could never find like a solution to help them overcome it. And so could you tell us a bit about tension bands? Absolutely. And I think tension, when we think of Rainer or advanced reflexology, they work hand in hand. Too often, if someone hurts their knee or someone hurts their hip, we go to the source of that pain, right? And we work on that. It might feel better for a while, but it tightens up again. Because it's not the root of the problem. The root of the problem actually starts in our hands and our feet, always when it comes to tension. So if you're just working on the, basically the area that's causing the pain, but you're not fixing the feet, for example, which is the cause of our hip pain, our knee pain, our lower back pain, then eventually it's going to come back. But if if you correct the root of the problem, you become like a body mechanic where you're actually moving things back into place. And these are things that last. This is the difference between someone having to get a hip or knee replacement and then not ever.
It's amazing.
You know, yeah. And it's like I've worked on people for years ago, and, you know, and then I give them some homework and I give them the regimen to keep up with things. But these are people that, you know, they thought they wouldn't be able to walk in 5 years, or they weren't walking already.
Yeah.
They walk out of the office. They're still it's still working.
Yeah.
So it was such an amazing thing. And in myself, I know it works because I broke my back in a lot of places. I lived in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
And I hit it really well, but there became a point when my back was as bad as it was, and then my feet got really bad with plantar fasciitis because it's the root of the problem. That I was in my mid-20s, and I was like, is this how I'm gonna have to live for the rest of my life? And they wanted to do surgery all over my body, and I had to be like, no. And it kind of started me out to kind of find these things. But if we fix the root of the problem, oh my God, the entire part of your body changes. But that's not everything. We also, I'm a big proponent on putting back into your body what you are made of.
Right.
Right? Where 60% hydrogen, 24% oxygen, 12% carbon, 2% everything else, mostly sulfur. So if you put the things that you are made of back into your body, and then you do that as well, oh my God, watch yourself heal. It's incredible.
Yeah. Wow. And I guess there's just so much to it, and it's hard to find. People don't know where to start with these things as well, and I guess that's why it's good to go and see a practitioner who can kind of like just guide you, and someone like you of the best course of action, which is going to look different for everyone. We're all kind of have different journeys.
And now like you.
And now like me.
Actually, before we go any further, I would like to present Alice with her course certificate.
Ooh.
She aced her course in mixed modality therapy, and I do encourage you in the UK, because she will be there, anyone that needs this kind of treatment, which is everybody, to please go see her. She's an incredible intuitive healer. She was incredibly easy to teach. She's a big book nerd too, so she aced everything, and she studied so hard. So thank you so much, Alice. You were incredible.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens next, and just to keep checking in with you and saying this is going on, and
I'm so excited about that. And you know, I think too often in these kind of courses that people are doing, you go for your 9 or 10 or however long days, and you do the course, and they just throw you back out in the world with nothing. And I really don't like how I've been a part of those courses. I really don't like that dynamic at all. So you know, when we bring people into I Heal Collective, they're part of the I Heal Collective team. You know, we have webinars, and we'll have Skype meetings, and we have all of these things to kind of work through as a team. You know, if you have a client you're struggling with or a condition you're struggling with, because there's a lot of really complicated stuff out there, you have the support of an entire team of people behind you, and they're going to rely on you as well for your expertise. Yeah,
and it's important to have, we can't do it all by ourselves. We need community.
No. Well,
and being able to say, like one of the things you said is, you have to go and say, I don't know this, but I can go and research. And I think people are afraid of admitting they don't know everything. And I've always been like, I'm going to go and do some research and read about it and find out. So
and there's so much, I think, power that comes with the vulnerability of that, where we take our ego out of healing, right? So if I don't know something, I have experts that I go to. You know, I might be the head of the collective, but I don't know everything, right? We have these people, and we have a team with incredibly diverse skill sets and modalities that I'm able to go check in with all these people and their wide range of skills, which for me has made my entire team so powerful. You know, so often we're, you know, in health there's this weird thing where there's like a disparity. You know, like these are my patients or these are my clients, and it's like I may not even be the right practitioner for you. You know, we all have different energetics, but if I'm not, I will find you the right person that is, because building a team around you of knowledgeable people that are compassionate, that are empathetic, that have all of these diverse skill sets and modalities and different ways they apply them, that's what makes it, right? And it's like if I'm not the person for you, I will find you the person that is. You know, I will recommend them. You know, and all the time we do this. We pass the buck. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you tell me a bit more about advanced reflexology? Because no one knows where it is. And
it's true.
My clients, when I told them, I'm going to do advanced they're like, oh, great. Like, and I'm like, no. This is not the same as what I've been doing on you, which is like a foot massage.
Yeah, a foot rub, which is really nice.
Which is nice.
Yeah, but reflexology goes so much deeper. You know, we're working with the meridians that run through the body, and these meridians govern our energy, as we know, they're energy and vibrations. And I like to think of it like indoor plumbing, right? When we get blockages in these meridian systems, or the plumbing that runs through your body, we start storing toxins, right? We start storing inflammation. So, and this builds up over time. So these things aren't working. Actually, the meridians power your lymphatic system as well. They're one one of the things that do. So when these things build up and build up, this is where a lot of time we get disease, we get injury, we get all of these things. So if we can go into that place, and it's interesting because we hold a lot of emotion in our organs as well. You know, we hold fear and fright in our kidneys, we hold anger in our liver and gallbladder. There's charts for this too. So feel free to look it up. So when we're storing that kind of thing, how do we release this kind of stuff? We are so repressed as a society because we don't know how to express ourselves. Reflexology or advanced reflexology gives you the ability to. So we go in with our hands or with a tool, usually a tool.
I wish we brought the tools.
Yeah, we should have brought the tools. All sorts of toys. Alice will do another show where she'll show you all of her tools.
Yeah.
So we go in and we bring a person to their threshold of pain. Like, we're not here to traumatize people, and that's why communication's a big thing. And then when we get to the threshold of pain, breath work's a huge part of it. And then obviously Alice is now training this, the ability to communicate and to be able to coach your client or your patient through this. I'm kind of bringing them up. It's almost like a roller coaster ride.
Yeah.
You know this. It kind of goes up and down for a bit. It plateaus for a while, and then it spikes way up high before it drops down for the final time. And people, it's insane. People, they see visions, they see different colors. They have, we had someone talking in tongues. They go on quests with their ancestors.
Yeah.
They'll have flashbacks from their childhood and be able to process this physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional distress that they were in and work through it. And with reflexology, when someone comes to my office and we're doing this treatment, I tell them, you can laugh, you can cry, you can scream, you can swear at me. All of these things are okay. It's not personal, right?
Yeah.
It's better out than in, we like to say. So when they go through this wide range of emotions, you see the changes in people, and even one session, their entire face can change, their energies change, their look on life can change. I've never found anything more powerful than advanced reflexology and Rainer body therapy mixed together. It is a game changer.
Yeah. And so it's, I would say it's like you could live with that kind of underlying pain for a long time, or you could just condense it into that one reflexology session and just get it out the system.
That's it. And that's the thing we kind of coach and encourage people with. It's like, if you could live with pain forever, or you could, or like a lot of pain, sometimes minimum to a lot of pain for a very long time.
Yeah.
Or you could go through a moderate amount of pain right now, however much you want to take, get it out, and then it's like the whole world opens up to you.
Yeah.
And it was life-changing for me. I did advanced reflexology first, and then when I got into Rainer and trauma release, which we're going to do on Alice tomorrow, it's like this giant elephant was sitting on my chest that I never knew about. I thought I'd worked through a lot of these traumas. Turns out I hadn't.
Well, we work them out mentally, perhaps, but not. It still is in the body, in the tissue.
Exactly. All of these things so the tissue of the body, but also spiritually and emotionally, it's held in there as well. So I went through it in my mind, analytically so many times, but I hadn't actually gotten I need to maybe out of that.
Yeah.
So when that Rainer trauma release happened for me, honestly, it was life changing. And I wasn't a Rainer therapist at the time, but Asia, who's one of my mentors, when she did this with me, it changed my life. And I was like, I have to do this. I have to add this to my practice.
Yeah.
It's a game changer, and everyone that I've worked with and done it for has left a new person.
Yeah.
And that's not just specifically me. All the Rainer instructors have had this experience. It's just an incredibly complex modality and a release that I've never found anywhere else between the two of those.
And I think in our society is this fear of feeling emotions, and I've really had to work on myself to allow myself to feel all the different emotions. And I think this is a good place to start to show you how important it is to not numb things out and stuff them down. And
I think there is so much strength in vulnerability. I think that is the epitome of strength. Actually, we think it's strength to be. No, it is not. And you being able to get to that place means you're able to facilitate that for other people. Our entire job in life here is to inspire possibility.
Yeah.
If you can do that in that person, then you do the next person. I'm pretty sure that's what evolution is, at least in my opinion. And you've done an incredible job this entire course, really getting in touch with your emotional side.
Yeah.
And just watching you and everybody else in the course work through this, it's so special to me. And it is odd because I'm like literally causing her pain while this is happening, or somebody else is. But being able to see the journey, you know what I mean, of someone going through that is just, it's incredible every single time.
Yeah. And to see how much somebody has kind of been weighed down by doubt and fear and pain, and how much that is making their life so much smaller. And then you see it release, and they realize that they're not their pain, and they're not their illness, and they're not what's happened to them in the past, but
we become so attached to these things, you know, like I have this disease. A lot of times I'm saying I am this disease. It becomes sometimes an excuse. It becomes a cop-out for life, or it just becomes something that you think is holding you back. And when you can kind of confront that head on and work through that on all four of the parts of the body level, there's nothing that can hold you down after that, you know. And I've seen, actually, you know, someone gets off the table when we were in, I think, Acapulco. One of my other practitioners worked on a lady, and she got up, and we both of her looked at her, and we're like, whoa, and she went down to the bathroom, you know, got herself cleaned up, came back, and she's like, I look 10 years younger. I don't even look like the same person. And we're like, you're right. Kate, who is in the course, I worked on her partner, and we did trauma release, and he lost, it was like instantaneously, like 2.5 inches just off his stomach.
Wow.
That was just like inflammation of trauma. He came out and like his pants didn't fit anymore. It was, so we see this all the time. And it's almost unbelievable when you talk to people when they will have this experience with you.
Yeah.
My best advice is lean in. She's going to provide a safe space and a safe environment. You know, we give you Kleenex, whatever you want. I had a lady to tear remember we had someone tear a pillow in half the other day.
Yes, yeah.
It was, actually, we had somebody in that they were able to experience me working on them. And I saw your face during that first one, and she was like,
yeah.
You know, but what a powerful transition in 2 sessions that she had. You know, it was really cool for you guys to see that in real time. Yeah. So it's, everyone that's in, that all of her clients, and even if you're not one yet, trust me, go see her.
And it's we get really sensitive to pain as well if we never let ourselves feel it. It's the same. I found it with emotions and physical. It's like exercise. When you first start exercising, it hurts and you're very sensitive. And then the more you do it, you know it's okay. You know what to expect, and you know it's good for you. So you you go back to it. So I think that's a similar thing.
Yeah, it is. And it almost becomes a weird kind of form of, I wouldn't say addiction, but kind of like that. You know, I'm constantly doing reflexology on myself every night.
Yeah.
I'm also working within these energies. I have to be that way. And I'm not disciplined on everything in my life, but that's one of the things I am disciplined on, because I know the end result. I know the tension bands will release. I know that I can get, my emotion out. And I know that I'll be ready, to meet the world the next day, do it in the morning, do it at night, whatever you want to do it. But I can take on, and I take on a lot, sometimes too much. But it gives me the capacity to be able to do things in a way that I've never been able to do it in my life before that, and without the bitterness, the resentfulness.
Right.
It gives me to be able to give, it doesn't feel like sacrifice, because I've met my own needs on that kind of emotional and, spiritual and level. People tell me all the time, like, you're doing too much, and it's like, but I prepared myself for it. I'm not doing too much. I'm working on myself enough so that I can actually give that. Yeah.
And you're finding ways to kind of recharge yourself, I guess, and release stuff as you go.
Absolutely. And the biggest thing is taking things back to nature, getting the fundamentals in. We have an environmental lifestyle body coach, Paul. He does a lot of talks about this as well. But making sure you get your sunshine, making sure you get your electrical expanded water. We talked about Brown's gas. That's once again putting the things you're made of. But charging yourself throughout nature is something that we're missing from our lives now. Human beings were not meant to get up and sit down behind a computer for 8 hours a day or go to the office. You need morning sun, for example. You need the melanin in your skin, right? The blue crazy lights that we have at night, the LEDs, there's so much going on with EMF as well, that if you need to get back to fundamentals, you need to put yourself in nature. Up until the last 100 years, we didn't live like this. We are not, our evolution does not work that fast, right? So I think a lot of the depression and a lot of the anxiety that we are feeling in the whole world right now is a large part due to that. And you can see that kind of in Mexico. People here are in touch with nature. They spend so much time outside. They're so grounded and so much happier than we are, even though some of them have so much less.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost because it's too simple for us to believe that it works. We want the complicated thing, and we have to get to the point of pain to then kind of realize that actually going back to nature is what you need, and everything else is a bit of a distraction anyway. So
it's so much easier to pick up your phone in the morning. I really try to avoid this. What's the first thing we do? And now I make an effort. I turn my alarm off without looking at it. I get up, I look out the window for a minute, I go outside. And I spend try to spend 15 minutes in the morning not even having any sort of interaction. Same thing when we always feel like, no one can sleep anymore. Well, put the blue light down on your phone for a bit. Pick up a book, I
mean, I stopped drinking, and that was difficult because, again, that's really kind of a social thing. But I actually think my addiction to my phone is worse, is harder because it's just there all the time. I mean, I haven't got over it as well, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's something when it comes to our business and these kinds of things that we
Yeah.
do need to be on, but there's times that, you know, you pick up, I'm like, I actually don't need to do that. And it's like, and you love
Yeah.
books as well. It's like
Yeah.
me having books around, or if I am doing phone things, it's an audio book
Yeah.
that I'm able to be outside or doing something else, that I'm not just staring at a screen. And there was times I used to fall asleep like on my computer, and I used to think, why did I never have a good sleep? And it's like, well, there's not
Wow.
even just the blue light, it's the EMF that's, you know, that's affecting us these days.
Yeah.
You know, there's a biofield, there's a toroidal field that extends from us, right? And this toroidal field, which is made of our plasma, you know, we have earth, air, fire, water. We also have ether, and ether is that space in between, right? And that's what this toroidal field is made of in our bioresonance. And this is science. This is not just woo-woo. We can measure this. It's true. And there's a great author, Eileen Day McCusack. Her books, Tuning the Human Biofield and Electric Body, Electric Health. I strongly encourage you guys to look those up. She's kind of a pioneer in her field, and she really does a great way of melding science into spirituality in this, but really coming with scientific fact on this. And sound is a huge thing that affects our biofield, right? As is magnetic force, as is EMF, which is the negative. You know, we have to learn a way to eliminate free radicals from our body and our biofields. But we can retune this area, and we can retune ourselves, we can retune other people, and we can really, I hate the thing of razor vibration. I think that's silly, because there's beautiful lower vibrations.
Yes, I love this, what you said.
Yeah. I might have stolen this from Eileen, I can't remember. But, you know, at the end of the day, though, nothing's original. We're all the combination of everyone else. But this clarifying, or I call it recalibrating our vibration, that's really what we need to do, because there's lower vibrations everywhere. They're just beautiful, like our C vibrations, right? But we produce in our tuning forks, but it's clarifying that vibrational frequency, and that's where we find resonance. That's where, and we're not meant to live in this state of happiness all the time. What we're looking for is to live in a state of neutrality, this calm neutrality that resonates within us. That is where real peace is found, and that's where progress and everything else is found. Happiness is great, but you have the duality of happiness and sadness, or happiness and pain. That's what you wouldn't have one without the other.
Yeah.
But to live just kind of in that neutral state, that contentment. That's what I think. That's what we're all really looking for.
I feel like that it's being able to flow between them two and not get stuck in it, and just keep embracing whatever shows up, and having that essence of kind of fluidity that helps us to come back into balance, and having maybe like some kind of practice that helps to bring you back into balance is a good thing. So for you, it's probably your advanced reflexology.
A lot of the time, to a degree. I have other things, but I think the biggest thing is emotions are important, but we don't let emotions overpower our intelligence. And when you live life just emotionally, you're going to have a lot of conflict with other people. You're going to have a lot of conflict in your life yourself. You know, you can't go to work and just start screaming and yelling or crying, you know, all the time.
Yeah.
But what we do is want to sit with our emotions when we can. You know, like you said, let those things wash over you. Sit with them, realize where they come from, and realize that, you know, if you're feeling anxious, that, well, something's out of control in your life.
Yeah.
If you're feeling angry, well, anger is just sadness that's gone on too long. You know, be able to sit with them, realize where they come from, being able to hold that inner child or self's hand, be able to really feel, experience, and then be able to let it go.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's where progress within that state is made. And too many of us are not even able to identify and our emotions, and we just repress and repress and repress, and then we're just a powder keg of someone says the wrong thing, and all of a sudden you've now you know, barfed on them 25 years of all the pain and stuff you've been holding in. You know, it's just like a straw that breaks the camel's back. Whereas if you're able to address it, sit with it, you know, obviously when you can. Sometimes you have to put it in a little box for a while, because maybe you're in a place that you can't do that, and then at home you take it out, you go through the emotions, or the emotions of dealing with that, and then, you know, be able to address that and just be able to move on after that. You know, that's the best way, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I was thinking about the other day that anxiety is often as well you being scared to feel an emotion. So you just become, the anxiety is just which they say everybody has, and I think it's just because people are afraid to feel embarrassed or self-doubting. I'm just thinking about if you're going and speaking on stage or feeling anxious, it's that if you're able to just let yourself go, okay, I feel a bit, you know, unsure right now, you wouldn't necessarily have the anxiety, but it's all suppressed into this ball of repression of emotion.
Exactly. And it's like, why am I nervous? Well, maybe it's something important.
Maybe it's okay.
And that's okay. And you know, and maybe feeling that is going to make you prepare a little bit more, make you, you know, do your homework. Your emotions are powerful things. We need to use them, but use them for the right reasons, instead of just repressing and storing them, because emotions are sometimes very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if we address that uncomfortableness, I don't know if that's a word.
It's a word. I've said it before.
It's a word now. If we address that, then we're able to move forward with kind of a clearer vision, and you become almost an observer of your own life.
Yeah.
And be able to observe and that lack of attachment to these kinds of things. We're so attached to our emotional state. You're so mad at everyone. I'm mad about this. I'm mad about that. And it's like, our subconscious doesn't really know anyone but ourselves. So, if I'm mad at someone, say someone's being lazy and I'm mad at them for being lazy, well, I'm just angry because maybe I've been lazy. But my subconscious doesn't know anybody but me. So whatever's annoying me in somebody else, maybe that's something I have a tendency to do, or, that someone else is mad at me about. So kind of having that realization going forward is be able to adjust yourself a little bit. And what we want to do is how to orient ourselves in the world, right? And that's really important. Yeah. So emotions are good for that. But
they are good. And I think the more that you allow yourself to feel them, the less sensitive you become to feeling them. Because like you said, they're uncomfortable. But if you break it down, emotion is just like a feeling of energy moving through the body.
Exactly.
And the more we practice doing that, the less we have to then project it onto other people.
Yeah.
And have those explosions.
There's so many amazing ways to work through that. Like what you do with physical training, and I think so many of us, myself included, I don't do this enough either. I'll go play pickleball, I'll go horseback riding when I can. But that's something I need to be more disciplined about. But the amount of exercise the human body needs, it needs at least some every day. And we're not doing this as a society anymore. Like we used to be hunter-gatherers. We were running. We were doing everything up until not that recently. We were now stationary people, a lot of us. And the work that people are doing within sports and training and physical therapy, and I think what you're doing is amazing too, of melding these things together. Do it. You're going to feel so much better. That anxiety, that's coming from somewhere. Get those endorphins going. Work it out of yourself.
Yeah, actually, one of my good friends, Marie, said to me a while ago, when I said, I'm not feeling great, she was like, have you done a hard workout recently? And I was like, no, but actually, that would be really helpful right now, because at least you get the endorphins running through the body, but you also release some of that charge that's held in the body. And I do think that a lot of what I do is trying to bring in ancient practices, and that's what you're doing as well, because our ancestors knew how to live, and we
absolutely we have this it's alternative therapy. It's actually traditional medicine. Why is it called alternative therapy? It's been around for thousands of years. The Western medicine is actually the new alternative therapy to these things, in my opinion. But so bringing this back and melding it together, we need that. And even the other day, teaching this course, it's been less physical for me because I'm doing more of the teaching aspect. And the other day, we were in Tranconas. It was beautiful, and I got up and guy we're about on a horse was like, I want to go riding, and it wasn't a long ride.
Is she actually gonna go?
Yeah, I had a bathing suit on, I was just galloping a horse, chafed a little bit, but totally worth it. But it's all of these little things, as silly as it is. I love playing pickleball on Wednesdays, and we're in a big town.
What's pickleball? Because we don't know this in the UK.
It took me a long time. Everyone here is so obsessed with it. It's kind of a mix between tennis, badminton. It's got a few volleyball things in it, but it's like a wiffle ball and a tennis court. A lot of older people like to play it, which we have quite a bit of older dynamic here, but I went to it one day. I'm like, this is actually really fun. It just got me moving too. I'm not a traditional person. I don't like to. I hate running. I hate doing that thing. I need a sport. I was a Muay Thai trainer for a while. I'm like, if you try to hit me, I'm gonna move. Or if I gotta chase a ball, I'm gonna move. I really that's how I prefer to work out. But I was really missing it for a long time. And I started to get quite depressed. I was like,
just need to move.
I'm not moving around enough, right? Even though my work is physical, I need the aerobic exercise of doing that,
And that, I guess, bringing it back to kind of the work that you're doing, if somebody is so limited in their body, be it by the physical tension, body pain, and then they can't exercise, which would actually help them in many ways, this is the good starting point, because you can help to kind of
and I guess you can take them the whole way now.
Yes.
I'm only going to take you the way to... Well, no, I guess if you want to fight some Muay Thai, I got pads. But that's actually a full evolution of that, because I see that a lot of the time. And, athletes are one of the main people that I treat, right? That have been having injury, that kind of thing, or been dealing with for years and years. And it's getting the mechanics back into their body, being able to do that. Or people that, I get this a lot, because we have a big older kind of expat generation here. I used to be able to do this. And it's like, but I can't do it anymore. I'm like, nah, you can't yet. But you stick with me, kid.
Yeah, exactly.
And when we get them there, we've had people roll into our office, not being able to walk out of our office 2.5 months later. They're still, treating everything from stage 4 cancer to strokes to autoimmune disease to just, athletics. it is all encompassing.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't just know about the modalities of this. She knows about how to assess people now. And they walk in and they're like, we talk about the systems of the body, right? There's a lot of systems of the body. There's a lot of like different factors that play into this. And we went over this a lot in this course, where you come in here like, here are all my symptoms. And now she has the ability to put these all together and be like, you know, you have lymphedema, you know, or you have a chronic kidney disease. Or maybe you're healthy and you're just dealing with, you know, something that's going on with your knee. Okay, well, maybe it's coming from your little toe and it's your side leg band. You know, you have the ability to put all these things together and come at it with a whole different approach. Because, you know, you go to the doctor and it's like, you're allowed to say one, maybe two things. Well, how do you get an assessment of what's going on with the body and the systems of the body, being like, okay, I have a headache. Okay, well, it's just a headache. Well, no, I have 10 other symptoms I'm not allowed to tell you about. You know, it's
all connected.
It's all connected.
It'll give you more and more clues to what's going on. So can you tell me about the lymphatic system? Because I didn't pay much attention to it before, and like you said, it's kind of, it's not really that well
No, I was
recognized.
actually watching a documentary on Netflix not too long ago. It was like a 6 or 7 part documentary about the systems of the body, and they didn't mention the lymphatic system once. And I was like, what? Like, it is so important. So the lymphatic system is kind of part of your circulatory system. I would say the governing of your immune system. So the lymphatic system, it has nodes, it has vessels, and has lymphatic organs in it. And lymph moves really slow. You got to see hijama, which was really cool, which is a wet form of cupping, where we're actually puncturing the skin and pulling out dirty lymph. It's almost like the dark congealed blood. Yeah, I find it really cool. But lymph moves very slowly. And unlike the blood that runs in our veins, it has a heart to pump it, the lymphatic system does not. It relies solely on energy, hydration, and movement, right, to get going. So we have to get the lymph moving, because if it's not, it's storing toxins. And we think of the areas that we get cancer a lot of the time. For women, breast cancer, well, you have massive lymph nodes right here, right? Yeah. Cervical or testicular cancer for men, or prostate cancer, there's massive lymph nodes right here, right? Throat cancer, you know, it's interesting, the correlations of all these things. When you get blockages of lymph, you're just storing toxins, right? So, and it's so funny because we don't address that in society anymore. And I would say like 50 to 60% of the people that come into my clinic, they've tried everything with Western medicine. It's either the nervous system or it's the lymphatic system, which is not two things that Western medicine seems to address, at least in the short term. The nervous system to a degree, but they don't connect the peripheral and central nervous system the way that we do. And people tend to come up to me where they've tried everything else, and it's like, boom, and like, oh my God, it's that simple. It may not be that simple to treat, but it's not that simple to understand. Yeah. Like Shannon, for example, my assistant, you know, she had her gallbladder removed. She had her tonsils removed, her appendix removed. Well, these are lymphatic organs. And then she had her stomach stapled, and she's put it on so much. She's like, how am I so fat? I have a stapled stomach. Like, I can't even eat that much. And it's like, well, that's not fat, that's lymph. And lymph looks different. It's like chunky and lumpy, whereas fat's quite taut. So Alice is now going to go through the world and be like lymph, because we've talked a lot about this. And I think it's really important, because some people are struggling with losing weight. Well, it's not the weight you have to lose. You have to learn how to control and manage lymphatic flow. Yeah. And
there's different things that can cause lymphatic kind of issues. And it can, I mean, people just don't even realize that they have things going on in their body. But what are the other symptoms that you get from lymphatic?
There are quite a bit. You know, the number one thing that I think people should know is, and this is in my intakes all the time, they won't have a gallbladder, for example. Gallbladder or appendix is two of the biggest things they lose. And ask them this question: were you breastfed? And 9 times out of 10, they were not. Now, when you were breastfed, you get the digestive enzymes that your body needs to break down all this stuff. If you are not, then you don't have things to break down gluten or dairy, or at least not as well. So if you're going to do that, you have to introduce an enzyme or have pre and probiotics in them, you know, but most people don't understand or know this, so they're just eating things that their body's actually, for better lack of words, allergic to. And they just start storing this. Well, if they don't have that, and then, you know, then the appendix will get swell, you know, and then burst, and then tonsils get inflamed and burst. And those are actually signals your body's telling you. It's like, help me out, you know, there's something wrong, you're not doing something right. But instead, in Western medicine, we just remove them. Well, we know what, you know, you Google, like, what's the appendix for? They're like, we're not sure. We are sure. We know. But you don't just start pulling out organs from your body because you don't need them. No, now Mother Nature is perfect. You need everything that's actually in your body, right? You start pulling things out, it's going to wreak havoc on your system. I'm not saying you can't live a full and balanced life, but now you have to adjust, right? Now you have to adjust your diet. Now you adjust your exercise. You have to increase certain things. Especially movement. If you have lymphatic problems, you need her. We all need her.
So exercise is good for lymphatic. I've heard as well cold and hot therapy is really good for that.
Absolutely.
Because it's acting as that pump, isn't
100%.
it? Which I read about.
Yeah, like the heart would.
Yeah.
Hydration's another big thing.
Yeah.
And actually, when we drink water, even structured alkaline water, we're absorbing best 1/3 of the water that we drink. It's really not enough. If you are a proponent of this and you need this, I would say look into Brown's gas or hydrotherapy. It's not the same as hydrogen therapy, hydroxytherapy, I guess we should call it. It's been around for a long time, but it hasn't had a lot of exposure. And this is one of the therapies that was game-changing for me. I'm quite healthy, but my energy levels, it was next level.
Yep.
But I've used it with cancer, autoimmune disease. Well, you're mostly hydrogen, right? So, and it gives us molecular hydrogen or electrically expanded water or negatively charged water plasma, however you want to put it. But your body actually makes that. But that's after the digestion process, which takes a lot of energy. So if you can introduce that to your body right away, all that energy, you got to keep that and you got to use that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alice, she's going to get into Brown's gas. She's going to get a machine. But it was probably the best investment I ever made, actually.
So what would you say that is kind of the best other options for kind of helping the lymphatic system?
Well, I mean, diet for number one, obviously. Making sure you're hydrated. Diet is a big thing, and we go into all these different diet plans, but the interesting thing is we have such a diverse biochemistry, right? Not one person's diet biochemistry is the same. So someone just be like, okay, I'm on the Atkins diet, I'm on the carnivore diet, I'm on all of these diets. Well, your body's a science experiment that changes in cycles of 7 years. So you actually have to figure out as you go, or as a practitioner, as your clients or patients go, what their dietary needs need to be. Are they allergic to nightshades? Vegetables are good for you. Well, some vegetables are not good for all people, you know. And there's, they're like, no, meat's bad for you. And it's like, actually, some people have to eat a carnivore diet. They have that bad autoimmune diseases that's specific to that. So it's really finding out. And it's cool. You have to look at it like an adventure of all the things maybe you cannot eat, but look at all the things that you didn't even know about that you can eat. Yeah. And that's huge. Movement is absolutely 100% necessary for lymphatic flow, right? Yeah. Elevation too. You have swollen feet or legs. Elevate your feet at night, boo. 15 minutes a night. One of the most restorative things you can do for your body, right? Because gravity, we need that for lymphatic flow, right? We don't have a heart. Right?
And lymphatic massage.
Lymphatic massage, absolutely. So when we're talking about lymphatic massage, and there's lymphatic drainages that are really good, especially if you're dealing with a bad lymphatic flow. But when we talk about lymphatic drainage, we can do it ourselves. There's compressions that we can do. I really like a fascia gun.
Yes.
Yeah. Massage is wonderful, but as far as time goes and be able to have something that's accessible to yourself, you get one of those little fascia guns and you can move lymph. Yeah. And you can find the direction of the lymphatic goes through your body. I think we have a course online actually about how to use a fascia gun. But to be able to drain that, right? If you can find the lymph nodes, to be able to move that through your body, move it through your face too. Oh my God. Gua sha is another part of lymphatic drainage, which Alice is really like this course.
I like that.
Look how shiny she is. She's looking amazing.
And cupping as well.
Cupping as well. Yeah. And cupping is one of those cool modalities that goes from lymphatic drainage to moving stagnation. It's a lot of the same thing. It's just a different methodology in doing that. So we go slide cupping, or as far as stationary cupping goes, or hijama, to be able to actually move the lymphatic system, help with the circulatory system as well, help with the muscular system. I'm a big proponent of let's hit everything. Yeah. It's part of the expert syndrome. It's like, I'm doing this, and it's like, well, why don't we do that and everything else?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so to kind of wrap it up, what would you say is this is a big question though, so what's your vision of the future of like fitness and wellness? What would you like to see? Or maybe you're already living it, I don't know.
Well, I could always do better.
Yeah.
As far as fitness and wellness, I mean, here at I Heal Collective, I really want to bring practitioners in from everything, and that's why I was actually really excited to have Alice in this course. We don't have that many people that are that dedicated to the actual physicality of working out or to be able to help people with that. We're dealing with a lot more of actually medical problems right now. But I think the two have to be intertwined, and I think that you can enjoy them both on different levels. I mean, I'm not saying there won't be pain, but, going through that, it starves you, carves you. It's like you have to go through that to get to the next thing, and life is just lessons one right after the other. But to be able to pull all these things and blend all these things in, I think actually makes you complete at a level that if you're just working out or if you're just going to see your therapist, it's like pulling all of this together. It's like you gotta be enjoy do what you're doing because you can physically do it, which is huge. It's not like a struggle to do it if you have the energy to be able to do it and you actually have the flexibility and you can actually pull off, you know, the sport that you want to do. You know, I was younger, competitive snowboarding. I didn't know any of this, and I look back now. I mean, not with regret, but with, you know, the ability to help the younger generation out. If I had known about diet, if I had known how to exercise properly, if I had known how to release tension in my body, how much further could I have gotten? How much better would I have been? And how much more would I have enjoyed it, you know, instead of it being a struggle? So I think blending these two things, it's going to take, you're always going to have the struggle there, but you don't have to necessarily live with the loss and the pain of you feeling like you can't do it. Yes, you can. You just haven't found the right modalities yet. You just haven't found the right way to interchange them, or maybe the right therapist to help you kind of achieve all that. So I really love to I'm so excited to have Alice here because, you know, I can't do everything, and I'm not even expert at, you know, when it comes to working out. She's showing me some stuff, but it's not just working out with her. She shows you how to strengthen and tone your body, you know, and that's the fundamentals of actually having to build core strength. But you'll be able to pass that back and forth, and I'm excited to learn from her as she learned from me. But to be able to give someone the education that I have that already has that education, you are going to be a formidable practitioner. You already are.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I'm so excited to have you a part of iHeal Collective.
Me too, me too. I just, as soon as I saw you speaking about mixed modalities and blending ancient and new, I was like, oh my God, this is literally everything that I believe in. So I'm very happy to be
Well, and we need to make an army of people like you. So we will be having more courses. Our next one, I believe, is in October, but I want to do at least 2 a year, where eventually, I know she's busy, but I want to have her down and start helping us teach our courses too.
Amazing.
She's going to get nothing but experience and do nothing but amazing work, I'm sure.
Thank you.
But we have an amazing community, and I think that we really need to be the forerunners on it. There's actually, I looked it up, there's no other mixed modality course on earth that's advertised in the world right now as far as health goes, which I think is insane.
Yeah.
So maybe we're pioneers. I don't know. But we need this. Like we need people like you, and we need these people that are passionate about health, passionate about life, and passionate about how to give back and help people actually. What's the doctor file? I want you to enjoy your life. You know, we do, and there's a way to do that, and there's a way to be passionate about it and to share it with everybody else. And this is the way we need to move forward in the community, especially the way the world is right now.
Yeah.
We lost the plot. Quite a bit, and it's like, how do we get back in line with the environment and ourselves and with each other, right?
Yeah, and we need people like you who are helping and have such an open heart, and you do give so much.
Well, you know what? You find yourself in the service of other people.
Yeah, definitely. And it helps you to grow and stay inspired and keep learning, and I haven't found, honestly, the last 6 months to a year, this course has inspired me. Just teaching these girls, these beautiful women, has inspired me more than anything else I can think of in the last little bit. Don't get me wrong, I love working with my patients and my clients, but to watch your evolution and growth in even such a short time, I think I'm more excited than they are. They're probably pretty tired, though, to be fair. I'm just kind of putting myself back together again. So
like, nobody touch me.
Yeah.
She's got a lot of body work done.
Yeah. I'll let you know in like a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Well, I'm so excited once again. So excited to have you a part of iHeal Collective, and I can't wait to have her back in Mexico again. Yay. Hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, probably in November.
Yeah, maybe we'll even have a course in the UK one day.
Yeah,
I'll come to you. Yeah.
Thank you for your time and sharing all of your knowledge.
I'm so happy to be here, Alice. And thank you to your lovely followers.
So join us next time for more, and be sure to follow us and to catch up with all that we're doing, because there's just so much more information out there. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.